Welcome to the MBM Vault, live from the Media Hub on RiotRadio.ca. I'm your host, Zach Campbell.
And I'm Kim Shigobin. This show is all about local talent, industry news, and most importantly, fun.
Today we'll begin to know our new host, Kim, and getting to chat with our lovely manager, Abby Hamerton, after our first segment. So, we're just going to start talking about you a bit, if you want to, give us a brief introduction.
Sure. My name's Kim. This is my second time on the show. Super excited to be a host. First year MBM student. Super excited. Love the program. It's been super great. So many fun things have been happening.
Mm-hmm.
How are you finding the program?
Me?
Yeah.
The first month felt pretty light, but as we have dived pretty deeper, it's starting to get a bit more heavier. I enjoy the assignments. I enjoy the professors. So far, everything's great. I mean, all of our classmates are also really nice too.
Yeah, our class is so fun. Everyone's gotten so close so quickly. It's been great.
And every Thursday we go to karaoke, so that's pretty fun. Well, not every Thursday, but almost every Thursday.
Interesting experience. Everyone's true colors come out.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Lots of good songs too, but some people play annoying songs. Will not lie.
Yeah.
So, why'd you choose this program?
I have always loved music, which I think we all kind of have that in common. It's always been like a priority in my life, keeping up to date with all the music, latest trends, everything. And once I saw there was an MBM music program, I was like, hold on. I left my other program immediately and joined this one. And so far, it's been one of the best decisions. I've never truly loved school, but I love coming to all these classes, especially learning about like music history. That's one of the coolest things ever.
That's very cool. And I think like what I enjoy about music history is that like a lot of my family members like love the old kind of music. So every time I go to like a function, say for example it's like Thanksgiving, which was like back in October, or now in Christmas, I'll have like more fun facts to tell them. It's like, how do you know that? Well, professor tells us about it and we read up on it. So.
I feel like it's also such a cool thing when my friends ask me, what are you doing in school? I'm learning about music, history of music. I'm watching music videos.
That's cool.
Yeah. They're all just like, that's so sick. I wish I could do that.
Is there anything you're looking forward to this semester and or next semester?
Honestly, I think just coming further into this enterprise and just learning more about the actual music industry in itself, and kind of just getting a feel for what it could actually be like in the real world. I think it's actually going to be so cool, and just getting closer with everyone, both first years, second years. I mean, I've already done that a little bit, but doing it more, I think it's going to be super cool.
Yeah. So is there a favorite course you have right now out of all the ones we have?
Definitely music history.
Definitely?
I've always been a history buff, so the fact that I get to learn about history in itself and then link it back to music, I think is one of the coolest things ever.
So then what were you studying before you came
I was
here?
in early childhood education.
Okay.
Very different.
Great.
Completely
Yes.
different.
So what was like your motivator to leave that?
Honestly, I had a really bad experience in a field placement, and I was just like, this is my breaking point. I'm just going to find something new. So I took a year off, and then I started deep diving into programs.
Okay.
Then I realized music was an option, and I was like, that could be it for me.
I was considering early childhood
Really?
because I worked as a camp counselor for 3 years, and I really enjoyed it. But I know that sometimes like I've watched interviews or like on TikTok of people that go up to people on the streets and ask like, what do you do for a living?
Yeah.
They just say like it's a very stressful job. But I think that's like the fun part to me. And it's like if I wasn't in this, I'd definitely be in early childhood.
I mean, it was super fun, but I also got to do a lot of music stuff in that program.
really?
Like, I got to pick songs to sing to the children and stuff like that. So even just doing that kind of brought me back to the music aspect of it. But what's been your favorite program so far? Or favorite class
Favorite
so far?
course? Honestly, it's probably going to be networking and personal selling. All courses like within this program are important, but I feel like that's one that's like a key takeaway in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because the whole music industry is revolving around like your ability to network.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of key takeaways from that course, and James is an amazing professor too.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of our assignments have been so hand-on. Like, we have to interview someone, we have to go into the real world and actually experience things. It's not like our other classes where it's just like a teacher telling us stuff. We actually have to go and do something, which I find really cool. It's kind of hard, but it's worthwhile, I think.
Yeah.
Super
So I got a question for you, since we're kind of like interviewing each other right now.
Yeah.
If there was one person, it can be a musical artist, celebrity, anyone, dead or alive, who would it be? One person you can interview.
One person. Honestly, I have to say Michael Jackson. Like, I have to, because I grew up only watching. I had a disc with all his music videos on it. I grew up watching that, listening to that. It was my favorite thing ever. as a child, I only had his albums memorized. And also, it's like a big thing me and my family bonded over. So I feel like it would just be such a cool thing to be
Is there
able to
anything
share.
like you'd want to know about Michael Jackson?
I just want to know, like, why he chose music. Out of all the things he could have chose, like, why music?
Well, I feel like it's also like inspired because he was a part of the Jackson 5 growing
Exactly.
up. So
And why he chose to go independent, like, how it was for him. Was it difficult to leave, like, his brothers, like, how that was for him as, like, a personal experience, and just, like, how his music was, like, a motivator for him, like, how it kept him going.
Michael Jackson had a monkey named Bubbles.
Oh.
And that was like when I was a kid,
Yeah.
I really wanted a monkey, and I was gonna name him Bubbles too.
Really?
But I haven't done the full research. I don't know if you can own monkeys in Canada, but I know you need like specific licensing to own a monkey.
Honestly, I might just have to risk it and get a monkey.
You gotta get a monkey.
Gotta get a monkey.
Or I could get a lemur. And I don't know if you've seen videos online, but lemurs like jump around the house and stuff like that. So I think that'd be pretty fun.
That'd be pretty cool if I'm being honest.
Or have you seen the sugar gliders?
Oh my
The ones
gosh.
that like jump out your hand or come back?
Yeah. Or aren't they also called flying squirrels?
Are they different or is that the same thing?
I don't know. We might have to look that up.
Might have to look that up.
But how about you? If you had to choose someone, who would it be?
Probably Freddie Mercury.
Ooh, that's a good
And
one.
you know what? I'm gonna get a little bit sensitive here. So I was a huge fan of Queen growing up, and then when I watched Bohemian Rhapsody, even though I was a massive fan, I never knew that Freddie Mercury died. I found out
No way.
through Bohemian Rhapsody. So after watching it like opening night, I came back and I cried a little bit.
Really?
I had no idea he was
You
dead.
had no idea?
I had no idea, and I was always listening to the music every single day on my dad's like CDs.
That would be heartbreaking
It was
for
pretty
me, at
heartbreaking.
least. I don't know what I would do. And I'm assuming he's like one of your favorite artists in the whole world, right?
Favorite vocalist.
Yeah, that would break my heart finding out
Yeah.
that he's just.
So today, November 1st, meaning yesterday, was Halloween.
It was.
Did you do any parties, any events, any specific costumes?
I went out with a few friends,
Okay.
dressed up as a prisoner. That was pretty interesting. We kind of just hung out, talked about life, kind of updated each other on life because we were so busy last week with midterms. We all went home. Not too much partying.
Not too much.
Yeah, I self-control. But it was pretty fun. We just kind of sat around, we talked. It was just 5 girls. It's honestly quite relaxing. I
Yeah.
needed it. We have a lot of tests and assignments coming up, so it was an essential, especially starting this new week. Did you do anything? Did you dress up?
Well, for the weekend, I had 2 costumes. I dressed up as a Flynn Rider and then just a chef.
Chef.
But last night, I stayed behind. I handed out candy to kids and stuff like that. I expected to be like busier, but I feel like I mean, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid and I was like walking the streets, it was packed.
Same.
Packed. Cars going by. There was like multiple kids on the sides, on the streets.
Yeah, my mom says you turn out the lights at 8:30. It was
Yeah,
ended
like-
so quickly.
Like we shut down at 8:30.
And I feel like the weather for Halloween yesterday was pretty decent.
It was
I feel like
good.
usually it's like raining,
And
downpour.
it's always raining on Halloween, but last
Yeah.
night it was nice. But I feel like because of COVID, it's kind of like slowed down. But even still,
Yeah.
then, like I thought it'd be busy this year because COVID was like officially declared over. But there's a new variant going around.
Did you carve any pumpkins this year? Did you do
I
anything cool like
didn't.
that? Is this the
I
first
wish
year
I
you
did.
haven't done that?
It is the first year I haven't done that. I was gonna go to a pumpkin patch, but I couldn't find the time because of school and work.
Yeah, I wanted to go to one too. I didn't, but I did carve a pumpkin.
Oh.
I did a little ghost.
A little ghost.
I struggled.
Struggle.
Yeah, realized I didn't have the muscle strength to do that, but got some help. It was
Do you
good.
keep the pumpkin seeds?
I did, but I didn't get to try any.
Oh, I didn't tie them.
No, because I went back to my dorm.
I heard. I've never done this before, but you can actually like eat the pumpkin.
Really?
Yeah, like the actual like pumpkin. You know how like I don't explain. You kind of eat it like a cantaloupe.
Oh,
Yeah.
like as you carve the
Supposedly it's
pumpkin, just
decent.
take a bite?
Yeah. You can
I
just like
mean-
cut off like a little slice and you can eat it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool. might have to try just buying a pumpkin.
Do you
and
like
take-
pumpkin pie?
I love pumpkin pie.
Have you had some this month?
I had
Last month?
some Thanksgiving.
Okay.
I think it was pretty good.
With
My
whipped
mom-
cream.
No,
You gotta have whipped cream with pumpkin pie.
my mom forgot the whipped cream. It was very unfortunate. Do you have any songs you've been listening to lately, like
Songs.
Halloween related songs?
Halloween related songs.
I've been listening to Ghostbusters.
You've been listening to Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
Like on repeat?
On repeat. It's at the top of my repeat right now.
Thriller has come up here and there.
Yeah.
Halloween by Phoebe Bridgers also.
That's a good one.
But not much. There hasn't been like any like new releases for Halloween music.
I agree. I feel like also it felt like Halloween until the actual day of Halloween.
That's true.
Yesterday it just did not
Yesterday
feel
did
like
not feel
Halloween
like it.
whatsoever.
I only had like, I wasn't counting the amount of like kids that came by the door.
Yeah.
I kind of count them as like a group.
Yeah.
So I had like maybe like just barely 20
No way.
groups of like kids come by.
That's crazy.
And the neighborhood I live in is decently like busy.
Yeah.
So
I was surprised too. My neighborhood's attached to like a bunch of other super close streets, and my mom said she only stayed out there for like 2 hours maybe.
Do you know how many kids came by?
Maybe 50. She bought 3 boxes of candy. She had like 2 left.
Yeah.
So
really?
Not that many.
I mean, I was being pretty generous at the start. I was giving them like 3 or 4, and then I realized that we were getting scarce, so I was doing like 1 and then maybe 2 if the kid's costume was cool.
I don't know. I kind of miss Halloween and being able to trick or treat, and it kind of makes me sad to see that it's kind of.
Who says that age determines that you can't trick or treat?
I mean, I think I could trick a few people.
At what age did you stop trick or treating?
Honestly, like 16.
16?
I could still go and pull it off, though. I look kind of like a child.
I mean, you've got the height for it.
Thank you. That was very nice.
I think I stopped at 15, and my very last costume was Mickey Mouse.
I think I was Stitch.
Stitch?
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
bought a
that's
Stitch
similar in a
onesie. It was
sense.
very warm. Now all I do is onesies for Halloween, except for this year.
I wore the monkey onesie last time.
You did.
I have my Mickey Mouse onesie, and then I have a reindeer onesie. So once Christmas comes around, we'll have to throw that one on.
I also have a reindeer onesie.
Really?
Definitely gonna.
Is
put
it
that on.
like, is it Rudolph? Does it have a red nose?
It has a red nose.
Has
I
a
think
red
it lights
nose?
up too.
Mine's a brown. It lights up?
Yeah, it has like a light in it. You click it.
Oh, mine's a brown nose.
Red nose is a little cooler.
Okay. Do you have, so we're a music podcast. I gotta ask, do you have a favorite album that's been released so far in 2023? And or are you excited for any releases?
I haven't kept too up to date with what's coming out. I know Nicki Minaj is releasing an
Really?
album in December. I think it's Pink Friday 2.
Okay.
But honestly, Olivia Rodrigo.
That
I
was a
thought I
pretty
wasn't
good. I like that
gonna
more
like
than
it.
her previous album.
Exactly. I thought I wasn't gonna like it because I thought it was gonna be super sappy, all slow songs, but it was kind of like upbeat, like
Poppy.
rock. And I was like, wait, I kind of like this. And
You like
I
it?
go to my repeat on Spotify. It's all Olivia.
All
Rodrigo.
there?
Yeah, the whole thing. How about
Did you listen to 1989, Taylor's version?
Okay, I've listened to the songs I know.
Okay.
I'm not an avid Taylor Swift fan,
Mhm.
but like if she comes on, I'll listen to it. I listen to like the classics like Blank Space.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
I'm
Bad
not.
Blood.
I'm not a big fan either. But do you know what Taylor's version means?
I think she had recorded songs as she was younger, but then something happened and she didn't get like something from it, so she just re-recorded all of them. So now she's actually making something from it.
Because I was always confused because I just felt like I listened to a few of the songs.
Yeah.
And I was like, this sounds nearly the exact same.
Yeah.
Is it like?
I think it's basically that she didn't get something the first time that she was supposed to get, and she thought it was unfair, so she just is re-recording all of them so she can get that. I'm not sure what it is, but she's re-recording everything.
Everything.
And they all kind of sound exactly the same, but also she's kind of re-recording them in a new way, I've noticed. Like some of them are slower, some of them are faster. Also, her vocals have just developed so much.
Yeah, I couldn't like distinguish any of the instrumentals, but her voice did sound much different.
Yeah, she's also much older.
Much older.
She was like 16 when she recorded the other ones.
1989 came out in what, 2012 or 2014?
I think so.
If I'm not wrong.
I had to be around then.
I think that's actually one of my favorite pop albums of all time. And I don't know. Okay, do you know any other songs by Carly Rae Jepsen? It's
No.
Only Call Me Maybe, right?
Yeah, only the one.
Fun fact. She dropped this album called Emotion back in 2015. It's one of the best pop albums I've ever heard.
Really?
Do you know the song I Really Like You?
Yeah.
That's also her. That's on that
Oh.
album. Amazing song. Every single song on there is amazing. Now, do you listen to Lorde?
I will listen to all these people if they come on, but I
Okay.
won't like sit there waiting for their album.
Because she also has another amazing pop album that dropped in 2017.
Okay.
So I think she'll listen to that one. If you're a fan of the pop.
Is that
genre.
like one of your top 5 albums?
It's one of my top pop albums.
Valid?
I think it's very like I think it kind of embodies like what the pop genre is trying to do. Both those albums. Well, all 3 of them.
How about this year? Do you have any albums this year that you've been just on repeat?
on repeat.
Yeah. Or like you always go back to, find yourself going back to?
Well, this year, a couple releases. I don't know if you know what Underscores is or who they are.
I do not.
Do not. They're like a hyperpop group. So they dropped an album called they dropped an album called Wall Socket.
Yeah.
Very good album. I don't know if you know Slow Dive.
I do.
You do know Slow. Okay. They also dropped an album. Boy Genius dropped a record. Very good. Do you know Earl Sweatshirt?
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
He dropped a very good album. But those are just the key ones. I know there's been other releases too, but those are the ones that I've been like focusing on and listening to the most.
Yeah.
So I like to explore new music.
Yeah.
But usually I go back to what I enjoy.
Yeah. I always listen to throwbacks.
Always.
Do you hope one of your favorite artists release an album this year? Is there anyone you're just like kind of manifesting that they release something?
Yes.
Who would that be?
Actually, Deftones. They announced it for this year, and
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be early winter to late fall. And there's a weird thing too. I saw that Daft Punk there's like a rumor of them dropping an album, but a year or two ago they disbanded. So I'm a bit confused as to what's happening there.
It's probably not
I'm still excited because Random Access Memories and Discovery are amazing electronic albums.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to have to listen to some of those.
you should.
A lot of those are new names for me.
All right. Well, coming up after the music break, we're going to be interviewing Abigail Hamerton, who is the amazing manager of MBM Vault. Don't forget you can follow us on social media at DCSA Media Hub.
We're going to play some music. Here's a clips by The Rose, live from the Media Hub on riotradio.ca.
Welcome back to the MBM Vault. I'm your host, Zach Campbell.
I'm Kim, and this is our enterprise manager, Abigail.
Hi.
So, Abigail, you're our MBM Vault
I
enterprise manager.
Yes.
What made you gravitate towards MBM Vault?
Marnie, if Marnie is listening, I hope not. This is my fantastic reasoning for becoming the manager of the Vault. I hated the entire interview process at the beginning of last year. I applied to a couple of enterprises, and all of them but the Vault didn't give me an interview. Like, I'm pretty sure my emails went to their spam folder, and they just never bothered to look into them.
Yeah.
So I did end up doing an interview for both the social media and the host position, I believe, for the Vault, or maybe just the host position, I'm not sure. And I got offered the script writer position, but I didn't know what that entailed. Jace didn't explain to me, any of us, it's just jot notes and you pick songs and it's gonna be great. I was like, I have to write an entire script, because I have a background in television broadcasting from my high school, where you had to write a word-for-word script and you had to read it word for word because it was a news thing, so you were just reading announcements. So I'm like, I don't want to do that anymore. So unfortunately she couldn't offer me a job, because the one job she had left by the time of my interview was that one. So I ended up jobless for a half a week, and then I had to go through the whole you don't have a job process. You either get what you choose of what's left, or you get what we give you. Thankfully, I acted on it quick enough to get a position in the Vault that I am comfortable with. So that was great. And I didn't want to go through that again. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be the manager, and I'm going to take it as far as I can go with it. And I will be on the opposite end of the interview process this time and call it a day.
How was that? Did you enjoy that? Was it a lot better than the interview process?
It wasn't as stressful in the sense of not knowing what's going to happen. I did have to go through a different interview process for the actual manager's position, but I'm the only one that applied. So it's just Jace pulled me aside. It's you're the only one that applied, so I'm going to interview you, and then you're going to get the position. It's oh, great, fantastic. So that wasn't that bad, but there's a lot of behind the scenes of the manager's jobs for your interviews that happen it's kind of obvious they're supposed to happen, but you don't really think about it. So it's a lot of waiting, and it's lifelike and not lifelike enough to bother you. Because you could have the best interview from someone ever and be I want this person on my team. But you have to wait until everyone else applies for jobs, to at least 2 or whatever they needed, before you can put things out at the deadline. So I had all of you already chosen in my brain before the deadline happened, and it was very stressful going into new interviews. And like, because when you got to the later interviews, it was the people that applied later on in the week, and they're only applying to you because, like, what if I don't get the job I want? Then this job seems easy, I'll go with this one. So it was like, you can see they're not interested. So like the last couple interviews are just like, oh, okay. And if you could interview anyone, who would you interview? And they'd be like, just buffering. You're like, oh, I never thought of interviewing anyone before. Huh. And then they give you like such a boring answer. I'm like, no offense to any of the people I interviewed. You were all great. It's just, it was very obvious when people weren't interested in the position. So it was fine. It was just a lot of waiting though, and miscommunications between like everyone, like, oh, when are we supposed to hear back? Oh, I'm sorry, I don't even know myself. So
how is being a manager this year, and how is it like balancing with other stuff in your life, such as work or other courses?
It's okay. I don't have a job right now
Okay.
because I don't live here, and I'm very much a person that if I have a job, I can't really focus on my schoolwork. So I've made that decision to not have a job. So thankfully I don't have that on the side, but trying to balance like manager work and coursework is really hard because I want this to work. So I'm putting my energy into this, and then like sometimes I'm neglecting things from my actual schoolwork. And then if I do put like all of my effort into my schoolwork, then I'm kind of neglecting you guys, and it's like it's this horrible back and forth, and it's very hard to find like a happy medium between the both of them. But we're getting there, slowly but surely.
Do you have any like solutions or techniques to try and balance it out? That way you're not stressed?
Definitely lists. I know Catherine talks about them a lot in our scent class, but I struggle with remembering all of the things I need to do, because like I will go into the manager's meeting or scent or like our enterprise meetings and be like, I need to do this, 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 and this. And if I don't write it all down, I guarantee I will forget like half of it before I make it back to my dorm room where I could go do all that stuff. So definitely writing lists. So, because I have a horrible memory. That's my main thing at the moment.
Yeah, I'm a big list person too. Everything I have to do on a to-do list, I check it off, and it's just so much.
Oh, it feels so nice.
It's just like, I did that. And then there's 20 more things you have to do, and it's just kind of like, oh. But it also kind of keeps me motivated to do them because I get to check it off. It's great.
I do like the really aggressive, like crossing it out thing, like never again.
I just do the simple check mark.
Yeah.
Good to go. Do you have any hopes for the ball as of right now, like future plans, or just like what do you want our outcome to be for this year?
I know Lily and I, Lily's my assistant, we had a lot of hopes for the vault last year that we didn't get to follow through. So I definitely use that as my business plan going into this year. And I think we've achieved the majority of them. Like my one goal is like I wanted hosts that weren't awkward and didn't like each other and didn't have like any opinions in common, because that could end poorly. And I really wanted to start a YouTube channel because a lot of struggle with communication of how people watched the show last year. It was like, it's not really that hard, but people are just like, it's just too difficult. It's not on Spotify. It's not on YouTube. I don't want to do it. I was like, okay. So get it on YouTube this year. That's my goal. And we've started doing that. I believe our first episode is up now. And we're hoping to do some more behind-the-scenes stuff further in the semester once we're all settled and out of midterm season. So that was my main goals for the year so far.
Cool. That's awesome. So now I got to ask the questions that we were asking each other.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite release this year? Single and or album, EP too?
There was so much this year. I was talking about it earlier with some of the guys from Riot, but I saw a band called The Rose in concert 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And they had an album out in September called Duel. I didn't listen to it much before the concert. My friend and my mom really like the band, so it was like I listened to it in passing. Like if you're in the vehicle with someone, it's like it's playing in the background. I was like, oh, this is a nice song. This is great. And then I saw it live, and it's just like, oh my god, this is spectacular. And
what's the genre?
It's like indie K-pop
Okay.
kind of thing. They're like a kind of like a rock band almost, more on the indie side. But I listen to the album like over and over again now. It's great.
So it's an album that kind of like grew on you
Oh yeah.
because you never listened to it at first.
No, not well, I had a couple of songs by them, but like I've never gone out of my way to listen to them much, other than like one song possibly. But yeah, I like, this is gonna sound really strange for the genre. I like heavier K-pop, if that makes sense.
Is there
Like more aggressive.
much of that out there? Because
Yeah.
K-pop is like, well, K-pop, so usually that's
Yeah.
what I'm kind of expecting.
They
so.
put it all under K-pop when there's like a multitude of genres under it
Mhm.
for some reason. I don't know why they do that. It could just be like it's not pop music, it's popular music, that kind of thing, the direction they're going with. But yeah, my favorite band is called ATEEZ, and it's not really pop music most of the time, and it's definitely on like a more rougher EDM sort of vibe. So
Have you seen them live?
yes.
And how was that?
Amazing. Oh my god, favorite concert by far.
Was it this year?
Last
Last
year
year.
in December. So it's almost been a year, and it's very depressing since I haven't seen them again since. But
Do you like go back and watch the concert footage and like?
Oh yeah, like most of my phone storage is just concert clips
Yeah, I
from
feel
all
like
concerts I've been to.
Every time I see you, it's like, what'd you do this weekend? Oh, I went to like 5 concerts.
Oh, this semester has been so bad.
You're
for
like,
that.
would you say you're an avid concert
I
person?
would like to say I am.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I live in an area where it's like it's kind of hard to do that. So
Yeah.
whenever I'm in school, it's like I'm so close to Toronto now. It's
Do
fantastic.
you have any concerts lined up right now?
Yes, next weekend I'm going to go see Depeche Mode.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah,
They dropped an album this year, didn't they?
I believe so.
Yeah.
It's my mother's like
A
one of
favorite.
her favorite bands, along with The Rose we were talking about
Mhm.
earlier. It was 2 very different bands, but whatever. But she bought them for my dad's birthday, even though it's her favorite. I don't ask questions, so
she
that
bought
I
them
got a
for your
ticket
dad,
out
and
of
it's
it.
like-
That's all I care.
Invest in return, that's all it is.
So yeah, I don't know many Depeche Mode songs by name because I grew up with them. So it's mostly like if I hear it, like, oh yeah,
You
it's
know
this
it.
song.
It's
It's
that
this
one.
song. Yeah, my parents are very big music people. Like my dad was in band when he was younger, and my mom ran the radio show at her high school because she was the one with all like the finals, because they did finals
Yeah.
for their radio show. So she was the one that had all the music she'd bring in.
Were you
So-
ever in a band like your dad? Because you're obviously doing what your mom did. Did you ever follow your dad's side in that?
Not like what you would expect
Yeah.
someone in a high school band to be in, like band geek band I was in. I've been in band classes since the 6th grade. Before that, you did like the normal like boom whackers, drums, ukulele things.
Recorder.
But we're like I feel like we're a little bit more musical town where I'm from than other places. So it's like it's mandatory in our like elementary school, the one I was in at least, to play an instrument in 7th and 8th grade, and you had the option in 6th grade if you didn't want to do ukuleles, and I seem to suck at string instruments. So I was like, okay, it's fine. I'll pick an instrument and go with that. So I played the flute from 6th to 9th grade, and then all of our trumpet players in our high school band decided to dip out of like our classes by 10th grade.
No.
So I was like, okay guys, we have too many flutes and there's no trumpets. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go play a trumpet. So I played the trumpet for the last couple of years of high school. I took up the bass guitar in jazz band a couple times. I'm not good at it. I remember one Christmas concert, we were playing like, you know, the easy like high school jazz band songs, and I remember it was split into 2 sections because there's so many people coming to the concert that they couldn't fit them all in the gymnasium. So they had half of them in an earlier show and then half of the audience in the second show. So you had to play twice. So the first one, I remember one of my band conductors took me aside and he's like, you weren't with the groove at all. Like, I don't understand what you were doing up there, but it was horrible to watch, horrible to listen to, horrible to look at. I'm like, what? What did I do? And then I went on the stage the second time, played it the exact same way, came off the stage, and he's just like, fantastic. I love it. It was beautiful, magnificent, amazing. And I'm like, this is why I don't like jazz music. I can't do this. I cannot handle it.
Have you
yeah.
missed playing the flute at all since you've
The flute, yes. The bass, I play from time to time, and I suck at it, but I like playing for myself. Like, I would never want to play it in front of anyone ever again. The trumpet I also do miss because I actually got quite good at the trumpet, and then COVID happened, and then I sucked at the trumpet afterwards. But yeah, I miss playing in bands more than playing instruments specifically, because I did concert band, I did stage band, I did jazz band, I did marching band, and I did vocals. So I think I graduated from high school with 7 or 8 music credits.
Wow.
So whenever someone talks about struggling to get arts credits in high school, I'm like, I don't have that problem. I don't understand you.
Did you ever do choir?
I did when I was really little. There's pictures of me in like a church choir. I'm an atheist. It's like my parents are too, I think. So it's like the only reason I was there is because I liked to sing when I was younger. So it's just like me at like a Christmas service in a church on stage in like a full like white gown get up thing at like 7 years old singing to a crowd. And I'm like,
Sounds amazing.
surprised I did that. But yeah, I have lots of musical background, and I still have no idea what I want to do in the industry.
Are you surprised that you ended up in a music program?
No.
Like, were you even looking at other programs, or was this
Nothing that was
one?
not related to music, no, other than radio broadcasting.
Yeah.
7th grade, I decided that I really wanted to go into like radio broadcasting, and then during COVID, I realized that like if I just went into radio broadcasting, I would miss the musical aspect of my education so much that I couldn't just specifically go into radio broadcasting and end up at like a sports station or something. Like, I would not be able to do that. So I switched from specifically radio broadcasting halfway through high school to more musical. Obviously, since I graduated with so many credits, it was like a no-brainer. So I applied to radio broadcasting courses. I applied to a music composition course at Seneca. This one, I applied to a couple universities for like a Bachelor of Music, and then I think I might have gotten into one. It's blurry now, but I remember my father just at the back was like in my ear just going like, "You're not gonna get a job from a Bachelor of Music. You're gonna have to go back to school anyway. So why don't you just skip the Bachelor of Music and go to school for something that'll get you a job?" But here I am, close to graduation, no idea what I want to do. So
Are you worried at all?
I am and I'm not. The past couple of months I've been leaning more towards like touring because I love live music so much. But I'm young. I'm fresh out of high school when I came into the program, and I know people who've changed their career paths like 20 times in their lifetime. So I'm not worried in that aspect. I am worried that, like, you know, how everyone's like, oh, in the music industry, once you get old enough, you kind of expire. Like, you're done. No one wants you anymore, which is mostly towards artists. But, like, if you can't handle it when you're young, you're not going to be able to handle it when you're old with the stress. So that's more of what I'm worried about. And I live in the middle of nowhere, and if I get stuck there again, it's probably not going to help me any. So that's just the couple things I'm worried about.
There's a point you made there. I don't know where I read this, but like the average person from our generation now goes through like 5 to 7 careers in their lifetime.
Yeah.
So
I know my dad switched his career path multiple times. He was a journalist at one point, and then he drove school buses, and now he's like a provincial like IT liaison or whatever the heck his title is at like
that's a pretty big jump
company.
from each one.
Yeah. But he's very happy with what he has now, and he's like the only job of his kind in the company. So like he reports like directly to people in like France now for sometimes. It's
kind of cool.
Crazy. I don't understand his job, so.
I feel like this was a thing with me growing up. If someone were to ask you, "Hey, what do your parents do for a living?" Like, did you have an answer? Because sometimes I'd be like, they work with computers.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell they do.
My mom was so easy, though. My mom's a librarian. I'll leave it at that. But my dad, it changed every so often. So I'd be like, I forgot what your dad does now. I'm like, it's a completely different answer than the last time you told me. So
he works.
He has a job.
He has a job. That's all
that counts. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So, if you want to take us away here.
Coming up after the music break, we'll be talking about our latest music opinions. Don't forget that you can follow us on social media at DCSA Media Hub. And you can also follow us at mbmvault on Instagram and any other social medias.
What are other social medias? We have Twitter.
We have Twitter, but we don't really use it. We used it last year, but we're not really using it this year.
TikTok's a big one.
TikTok, YouTube, Instagram is what we're focusing on.
Those are the key ones.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to play some music. Here's Lavender Haze by Taylor Swift, live from Media Hub on riotradio.ca. Welcome back to the MBM Vault. I'm your host, Zach Campbell.
I'm Kim Shugobin. This is our enterprise manager.
Abby Hamerton.
We hope you enjoyed that music break. That was Strangers by Kenya Grace. Awesome song. It's trending all over TikTok right now, as you were just saying.
Everywhere.
Every other video you swipe, new song,
It's
swipe,
back. It's
Stranger.
back again.
It doesn't leave you.
Yeah. So, we're just going to quickly talk about your favorite releases of 2023 so far, other than...
Right. My favorite band had like an EP released in June or July, and I forget because I always get June and July mixed up for album releases. But they didn't really have any soft songs on it, so it was like a really hype album, and it was like, oh yeah, this is great. Except for like I love their softer songs too. So they have they have full feature album or full length album coming out on the 1st of December.
Okay.
So exactly a month, and I'm hoping that there's some nice like ballads on it. So
Is there any other things you're excited for besides this one?
yes, but I apologize to everyone that's hoping to get anything out of me. It's all K-pop because I keep up with that. If it's any other thing else, it's usually I find them afterwards, and it's like, oh yeah, this is a great song. But there's a band, like my friend really likes this band called Stray Kids, and they're really
Is that
good.
indie, right? No,
K-pop.
Is it K-pop? Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard them.
They're one of the biggest ones right now, other than the obvious BTS. But they have a new album on like the 11th or something of November, 10-ish days
quick.
from now. But, well, it's very common to have like multiple EPs a year for that genre. So it's like everyone is doing like one right now. Like one by a band called TXT just got released like 2 weeks ago, and then there's another one like the band I saw a band in Chicago not this last weekend, but the weekend before, and they've got an album coming out in like a couple weeks. So I'm broke. I'm very much a person that buys physical copies, so I'm gonna be very broke for a little
It's
while
nice to
now.
hear that you do that. I feel like everyone now is just digital streaming. Like I used to collect so many CDs, like the Kids Bop CDs, all of them. Okay.
Speaking of Kids Bop, we were talking about people who we knew when we were younger. I don't remember if it's like Kids Bop or like the other one, like the Canadian one. One of them, I went to school with their older brother, and I was in a guitar class with him.
That's cool.
Like,
sort of.
like 2 years ago. He's an interesting dude. So
I don't know about you guys, but I kind of enjoyed Kids Bop as a kid.
I never listened to it.
No?
My entire childhood was just the music my parents liked,
I swear
and like
I got,
Rihanna.
like, Kids Bops and like Happy Meals or like Burger King meals, kids meals. Yeah.
I'd always see
know
them
that.
like dancing on TV, such as like As Much
we
Music
didn't
or
have
something like that.
We didn't have satellites, so I grew up with like what my mom liked, what my dad liked, and then like popular music, but like Rihanna. Like I was obsessed with Rihanna as a kid.
Is that how you pronounce her name? Because I've seen like interviews where they say like there's different ways to pronounce it because of her background.
It wrong? I'm not sure.
Do you know how to pronounce it?
I
Or do you say
don't.
Rihanna too?
I say Rihanna.
Yeah.
Huh. Because I've heard like
I apologize if I say anyone's name wrong.
I've heard like Rihanna.
Rihanna.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I don't know which one's the proper one. I think the most common is Rihanna.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Kimberly. I just don't even know how to pronounce your last name. I can spell it, no
Shugobin.
problem. Like I can spell your
Okay,
last
I just
name
tell
easier than I
people to
can spell
just
Kimberly.
Do what they want. Just
So,
say it however you want.
all
But
right.
with those questions
First
left
name basis.
unanswered, that's the end of our show for today. Thank you so much for listening, watching. We look forward to seeing you guys next week.
This is going to be the last song coming out is Like Crazy by Jimin.
Playing us out live from the Riot Radio, from the Media Hub on riotradio.ca. And also, do not forget that you can follow us on social media at DCSA Media Hub and MBM Vault. Thank you very much.